Hi everybody and welcome to your daily tarot reading for Monday the 8th of July 2019. Thanks for joining me. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I'm using the Wildwood Tarot for this reading. Let's have a look at what the cards want you to be aware of for this day. I hope you've had a wonderful July so far and that the first week of July has treated you really well. Let's have a look at what this day is all about. We've got the Seven of Arrows, Insecurity, which is the Seven of Swords. Then we have the Page of Swords in reverse and the Five of Vessels in reverse. So the Seven of Swords is about insecurity. It's about feeling like I don't have enough, so I need to take and I need to grab and I need to get. It's a sense of lack mentality. In this case, we've got a woman who is really being skewered by all of these arrows and she's being killed, really. She's a natural part of this forest. She is simply being herself, and because she's being herself, she's being hunted down, she's being shot full of arrows, and she's going down, and the insecurity that she feels is really warranted because she genuinely is in danger. Each arrow represents a sword. Swords are ideas, communication, thoughts, decisions, actions taken by other people. So you can do yourself a favor by first of all getting rid of the arrows that are created by yourself. So negative thoughts about yourself. I'm never going to do well with this presentation. I am not good enough. I haven't got what it takes. Those kind of ego messages, let go of those, hand them over to the universe, turn the volume down on the ego, connect with your higher self, just take a breath, relax, get in touch with your true nature, and realize that you don't need to apologize for yourself. You have been created the way you are for a reason. You're a perfect child of the universe. You are full of love. You have so much to offer. And you're doing your best. Some of these other arrows are negative things via other people. So a conflict with a coworker, or someone blaming you for something that you haven't done, or a decision that really hurts your feelings. So for instance, you're working in a job, you have your annual review, you feel insecure about it, you have the review, your line manager says you have not reached your target this year the way you were meant to. We are lowering your salary in accordance to the targets that you did meet, and we will revisit this next year. That could make you feel like you're suffering a mini death. It can be very discouraging. It's important today to focus on the good, to focus on who you are, and just because the outside world sees you a certain way does not mean that it's true. You are unique, fabulous, wonderful creation of the universe, and regardless whether other people don't see that or miss the point completely, it can be hurtful and it can feel really uncomfortable. Obviously, it's much more comfortable when people see your beauty and your genius and the fact that you shine like a star. But when they don't, you've still got to get on with things and live your life. And today is just one of those days where it seems that people are kind of on the warpath. Everyone has this sense of insecurity. So insecure people make other people insecure, and hurt people hurt other people. And when there's a lack mentality going around, then people start to argue and try and grab and get things for themselves. And sometimes that involves sabotaging other people. So don't get involved in any of those games. Just don't do anything today that you wouldn't be happy with being on the front page of the newspaper tomorrow. So keep your conscience clean and clear, and only do things that you would really be happy for your grandmother to read in the paper if it were to come out. The next card is the Page of Arrows, the wren, this beautiful little bird here. And the Page of Arrows is someone who is just learning how to survive in the winter, how to survive in a difficult environment. It's in reverse, so you've been through many winters. You have faced things that are much harder than this, okay? You have been through times that have been far more challenging. So really, don't blow this out of proportion. You've been here, you've done this before, you've got through these things. Draw on your experience. Lie back in your experience like it's a beautiful bed of roses that just comforts you and supports you. And wait for the storm to pass. We know that everything has a shelf life here on planet Earth. Things do not last forever, and you have dealt with things like this before. You're going to deal with things that are negative in future, and you have built skills to manage these things. You're not just a beginner. This isn't your first rodeo. You are the Queen of Swords, and you're able to make decisions, and you're able to take criticism. And if someone is telling you what they think of you, you can accept that without falling to pieces. The important thing today is not to be reactive and not to completely destroy someone because you feel attacked. So let's say you're at work and you do have this annual review, and the boss says, the way you've presented yourself this year, really, we haven't thought that is you haven't been as presentable as before. We don't think you've taken such good care of your appearance, and we really feel that that has had an impact on your sales. You could then shoot back with, says the man who is constantly sweating, has no hair on his head, has a nose that looks like a strawberry and is inflamed and red because he drinks a bottle of whiskey every night, and we all know it. And you could really shoot back and really destroy this guy for attacking you. Is that going to help your annual review by making an enemy of him? No. So the big important thing is to use your information, your ability to perceive the weaknesses in others, the truth. Use that in a cautious, simple way, and simply try and maintain the peace and try and make other people feel secure. If you do that, you're going to be elevated and you're going to become a positive force, and you're going to dodge a lot of these arrows if you don't give in to this permeating feeling of insecurity, and you deliberately go in feeling secure about yourself, knowing that you're in control and that you don't need to react to everything that provokes you, because really, what's it going to get you? If you tell that guy that, says the man who's totally unpresentable, then he's just going to give you an even worse kind of mark on your annual review. And there's no point in that. There's no winning. So bite your lip, swallow things, let them go, realize that you are who you are, and just because someone has an opinion doesn't mean it's true. Finally, we've got the Five of Vessels, ecstasy, dancing in this magic circle here, in this magic star formation, and experiencing the ecstasy of being free and completely at one with nature, enjoying the stars, being completely independent, and feeling this glowing sense of well-being inside of you is in reverse. You do feel good within yourself, but because the circumstances are really pushing down on you today, there's a lot of external pressure today. It's really unlikely that you're going to feel this sense of ecstasy where you feel completely free to do as you please, to dance in the sunlight or to go frolicking in the meadows, in the fields, because it's a Monday that requires you to answer letters and participate in meetings and to face reality and the inconveniences that come with reality and to solve those. I recently watched a video with one of my favorites, Carrie Fisher, and she ended up in a mental hospital. And she said, this is not very done in Hollywood. Going to a mental hospital isn't really done. And what it taught me is how to differentiate between an inconvenience and a problem. Going to the mental hospital and losing my mind was a problem. Having problems with the school fees for my daughter's school, that's an inconvenience. Having one of the mothers tell me that she doesn't like me and that she's going to keep an eye on me and possibly report me to Child Protective Services because she thinks I'm a bad mother is an inconvenience. It's not a problem. And even though these things seem awful and it's like, wow, if that were to happen to me, I'd freak, that really is a problem. You've got to realize that there are things in life which are super unpleasant, but really they are more inconveniences really than true problems, because things like that is just, if you hear something like that, for instance, like this idle threat being made against you because someone's jealous, that simply inconveniences you by putting a downer on your feelings. It's not something real that anyone's gonna follow through with. It's just someone who's jealous and who wants to put you in their place because they feel insecure about their own life. So by bullying someone else, they feel better about themselves. If one of your relatives dies, then that's a problem because there's nothing you can do about it, and that's a genuine loss. But again, if you flunk your driver's test, that's an inconvenience. It's not the end of the world. And that's really what you've got to realize today, is that the ecstasy and the joy for the process of life is still within you. It's there. You know a lot more than you realize. You are not a beginner at this. But today, for whatever reason, people are targeting each other and they're trying to get to the top by putting other people down. So imagine this human pyramid today, and people are scrambling to the top because there's this floating sense of being ill at ease, and everyone feels like there's a lack, so they have to fight especially hard to get to the top. And the only way to get to the top is by putting other people down. And you don't need to play that game because you realize that there's enough for everybody. There's abundance in the world, that just because other people play dirty and get down in the mud and sling mud at each other, that you don't need to respond to that. Someone tries to provoke you and says something really inflammatory, you've got an option of screaming back, or you can shrug your shoulders and say, well, that's your opinion. I don't care. I really don't care. Thanks for sharing, but who are you? You know nothing about me. Don't know what I'm going through. What have you done for me lately, really, that makes me value your opinion so much? Nothing. So go ahead. Keep spewing your hate, but I am not going to go down that road with you. And I know you want me to. Because people who are attacking your character or who are being negative, there's nothing more satisfying for those people than for the other person to get hooked into that negativity and to get down in the mud with them. Because then they've dragged you down with them and they have the opportunity, they have the upper hand, they're playing the game, you're now joining in later on, and that's what's able to get them to sabotage you and get to the top. Stay out of it. Remember, only do things that you would be proud of that you would be proud to see in the paper the next day, and keep your hands clean. And remember that there is enough for everybody, and you've got no reason to be insecure. Nothing. 7 and 1 is 8. 8 and 5 is 13. 1 and 3 is 4. And 4 is stability and security. So I just said security. It's the opposite of insecurity. You are secure. Everything is fine. It just seems to be insecure because there's this running anxiety that's floating around the atmosphere, and it's making people a little bit restless and uneasy. But you don't need to buy into that because you're completely anchored and settled. Nothing is going to be a genuine problem, and any inconveniences that come your way can be handled. So rely on yourself, realize that you are very well equipped to deal with any minor issues that come your way, large issues that come your way, and that this too will pass. It's not that serious. It's not that big a deal. Despite these energies, have a wonderful day. And you can have a wonderful day by not getting involved in the negativity. If you'd like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Have a fabulous day here on Monday, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.